AJ Anthony Joshua.
Wow. 199.4.
Like that? Who you think you are? I am!
You did say something, and I'm paraphrasing here, so please correct me if I'm misinterpreting it. You said if I could kill him, I'll kill him.
Yeah.
Your old foe, Tyson Fury, today called you a classless loser for saying something like that you shouldn't say that as a boxer. Could you explain to us what you meant by that, and could you please respond to Tyson's statement?
It's my job. We fight. We're licensed to kill. I'm sure many people don't understand it, but this is what my job is, and I just enjoy what I do. Whatever happens, happens. As long as my hand's raised, that's what's important, right? Respectfully. That's just the mentality we have to have as fighters. I don't know if any other fighter thinks that way. Maybe they're a bit more tamed. But the things I watch and the way my mind works, when you're in that ring, it's a dangerous place to be, and anything can happen. And you hope your opponent leaves the ring safely, but if they don't, you know, you still have to go to bed at night knowing that you just done your job. It wasn't personal.
The final press conference felt like two completely different energies trapped on the same stage. One calm, one chaotic. And that contrast made the room electric, because right from the start, you could feel something was off. Like the calm before a storm everyone pretended not to see.
Do you think that Jake Paul's fearlessness creates a challenge for you?
Yeah, definitely. Jake Paul creates a great challenge for me. And he's got a great mindset for sure. Great family, great brother, great person. So yeah, it definitely creates a good challenge for me. But as I said earlier, competition is really good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
AJ, you called this the ultimate barbershop fight, the ultimate plane fight. Everyone's talking about it. I love that description. I'm wondering, when you were in Valencia training, maybe back home a little bit here in Miami, are a lot of people coming up to you and saying, can you please knock this guy out? That seems to be the sentiment. Are they coming up to you and saying that?
Nah. They're respectful. People are respectful.
They are?
They're like
I saw in the video there were people there outside the press conference saying, end this man, end this man.
Yeah, you do hear it, but remember, we don't focus on the negative.
True. No, that's just a sentiment that I feel like people are saying to you.
They're just saying, good luck, do your best. You know, that's a great fight. I heard people say like, I'm not really into boxing, but I'm watching this fight. But no one's really coming up to me saying anything about Jake or they want me to knock him out. Just positive vibes. Okay.
Jake joked about AJ listening to Something Better Than Me, and Joshua brushed it off with a relaxed, unbothered smile. The crowd laughed, but the tension never left the room. Beneath the humor, competition was already simmering. This wasn't banter, it was a quiet measuring contest.
Put on a show for the fans. Let's go to war. Men have done crazier things throughout human history. This is the modern day gladiator sport. This is what we're here to do, is f*** each other up, and I'm ready. I want his hardest punches. I want there to be no excuses when it's all said and done, and let's f*** each other.
Then Jake flipped the switch. He planted the first real psychological seed, calling this fight the potential biggest loss of Anthony Joshua's career. He spoke about nerves, timing, and pressure like he already had AJ figured out. Joshua didn't rush to respond. He waited, let the noise fade, and then calmly reminded everyone that fighters are licensed to finish. In that moment, the tone of the night changed completely.
You have to focus on more positive.
Exactly, that's why I'm not going to ask you about that. But Jake, do you view
push your confidence.
Absolutely. Do you view it this way? Do you view it as old guard versus new guard, that he's representing boxing and he's been tasked with ending the Jake Paul experience and it's up to you to keep it going?
Not really, no. I mean, I think no one's done more for the sport of boxing in the past decade than myself. So I think if people really cared about boxing, they'd want me to win. But I see where the angle that they're coming from is that he's, you know, the traditional boxer, has been doing it his whole life, etc. But I think that I'm more important for the sport of boxing. And so if they actually cared about the sport, they would want me to win.
Jake tried to match that seriousness with chaos, going full modern-day gladiator, talking about war, history, and legacy, throwing everything onto the table at once. But the louder Jake became, the more composed AJ looked. When Joshua said he was carrying boxing on his back and had been called in to end Jake Paul's show for the purists, it didn't sound like trash talk. It sounded like a professional accepting a task. Jake fired back, claiming he's done more for boxing than anyone in the last decade, fully embracing the role of the disruptor. But the contrast was undeniable. Noise versus control, hype versus responsibility. If you're following this story so far, hit subscribe, because this is where things start getting real.
I was then called in to fight Ngannou, and I knew there was a lot riding on it. And with this one, in terms of putting boxing on my back, it just seems like I'm being called in to, I don't know, save the pugilists, the purists of boxing and so on. People don't like the fact that I'm fighting Jake. Whether that concerns me or not is another question, but if we look at the people that don't want me to be here, but they want me to put an end to Jake Paul's show, I understand it, and that's why I have to carry boxing on my back with this fight.
AJ framed the matchup as Jordan versus Iverson, legacy versus rebellion. Even when asked about losing, he joked through it, smiling like the pressure never touched him. By the end of the exchange, it stopped feeling like trash talk altogether. It felt like belief colliding with experience, chaos crashing into discipline. Two different realities were lining up for the same moment, and once the bell rings, only one version survives.
You got the call saying, okay, now he wants to fight you.
Oh, I just thought brilliant opportunity, man, you know, because I understand what his audience tuning in does for me, what it does for boxing as a whole, and the ripple effect it has on the industry that I'm in. Because when Jake moves aside, boxing still benefits. I'm a pure boxer, so boxing still benefits. I just thought, what a great opportunity to perform in America just before Christmas. We had been training anyway. Everything was stacked up for it to happen, and I think it's a great date to happen on the 19th of December.
When AJ talked about getting the call, okay, now he wants to fight you, there was no anger, no ego, no hesitation. He called it a brilliant opportunity. He spoke about Jake's audience, the ripple effect, and how boxing benefits long after Jake steps aside. He reminded everyone he's a pure boxer and that boxing still wins in the end. Then he mentioned America, December 19th, not like hype, but like a scheduled obligation. Everything was already aligned. And if this perspective surprises you, drop a like, because it tells you more than any press conference ever could.
Boxing is a nasty game. You don't want to do it. You go to the gym to keep fit. As Eddie said, you can see this guy's got a bit of talent. Hey, get some gloves on. Next minute, hey, what do you want to do, some sparring? Next minute, you get carded. Next minute, you're fighting. Next minute, he's fighting Tank. Next minute, he's fighting Anthony Joshua. Boxing is just like it's a snowball effect. It just keeps rolling and getting bigger and bigger and bigger until you meet someone or you hit a wall and it all just goes.
That's where the energy quietly flips. After all the press conference noise, destiny talk, and underdog mythology, we cut to Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn, and suddenly it feels like the grown-ups walked into the room. The voices are lower, the tone calmer, but the confidence is louder than ever. AJ isn't chasing moments anymore. He's collecting leverage. No resentment toward YouTubers, no bruised ego, just clarity. He sees Jake Paul for what he is: momentum, audience, opportunity, and eventually a wall you hit if you keep snowballing long enough.
Did with Usyk, it made you say, I want to work with these guys?
Sergey invited me and said, you're more than welcome to come and do some training. At first, our schedules didn't align, and then our schedules aligned, and I think it was a really good decision. It's been an eye-opener. You know, people could ask me in the future, what message could you give young kids out there? I say, work harder. If you think you're working hard, do more. And if you think you're doing enough, do more. Look, that's the only way you're gonna win. His free time, well, let's say, I don't think he's been beaten as an amateur either. Anyway, he's an Olympic gold medalist, 3-time unified champion. Man, like, if you want to win, surround yourself with winners. It's basic, and it's been a really good experience, if I'm honest with you.
Eddie Hearn lays it out like a master plan nobody expected, but everybody's willing to execute. AJ keeps repeating one idea. If you can end it early, you do it. Not for highlights, not for mercy, because boxing isn't football. You don't owe anyone 90 minutes. Then comes the Usyk camp conversation, the part Jake fans should really pause on. When a heavyweight willingly chooses the hardest training environment possible, not because he has to, but because he wants to suffer more, that's not hype, that's preparation. That's someone sharpening the blade in silence.
I'm in for improvement. So for me, it's just really how far can I push it? How much more can I improve as an athlete? And what I'm doing now, I'm pushing myself more. I think I'm definitely improving as an athlete. And then whatever comes after that is a big bonus. So what motivates me now is the hunger to compete and the hunger to improve. And I actually like, even though it's hard, as I said 2 weeks in, I was like, what am I doing here? I kind of like the athlete lifestyle. It gives me purpose, because when I first went to the gym, I never went to kind of be a champion. I like the fitness. I like kind of looking after myself.
Jake's motivation is clear. Money, exposure, disruption, keeping the machine moving. AJ's motivation is far more unsettling. Improvement, discipline, and a quiet belief that if you strip away the Netflix lights, the influencer aura, and the circus atmosphere, you're left with a boxer who's been here before versus one who hasn't. That's why this feels inevitable. Not because Jake doesn't believe, he believes completely, but belief always meets reality eventually. And AJ sounds like someone who already knows how that meeting ends.
What was your perception of him before you went in camp and sparred him, and what's it now?
I thought he would be soft, if I'm honest with you. I thought he'd be soft. Nah, doesn't want to be in here, doesn't want this, isn't good enough, isn't whatever. And then by the time we left, the opposite. I think he's got big balls. I think he's game. I think he's I want to see him do well because he puts in the work. That's it in a nutshell. I think it's a huge ask. AJ is a massive guy, a very experienced guy, 2-time heavyweight world champion. Like, for boxing, the boxer would be is like, you can't. Surely you can't let this guy come in and do.
And just when you think the AJ-Eddie conversation told you everything, the camera cuts again, and the story levels up. Now, we're not talking press conferences or promoter strategy. We're inside the gym, where excuses don't echo and reality punches back. Lawrence Oakley steps in, and suddenly this Jake Paul situation stops being theoretical. He admits he walked in expecting Jake to be soft, expecting to touch him up and leave early. Instead, he walked out questioning himself. That's not hype. That's a professional heavyweight having a real self-check. When Jake made a miss, the tone changed instantly. Respect replaced friendliness. Jake didn't survive because people win easy. He survived because he earned it. Is he ready for AJ? No, but he's not a cardboard cutout either. And that's what makes this fight far more dangerous than anyone wants to admit. Stay locked in, because when reality finally meets belief, boxing history gets written.